Am I the asshole? For refusing to change my plans. I have put 1 day of annual leave in for next month because a video game comes out that I have been excited for years. My GF knew I had this planned. Initially I wanted to have the whole weekend to just relax and play the game, but I could not do this because it is a special occasion for me or for a dinner party, but the closest store was out of what I needed, so I had to go to the predominantly white suburbs. On my way out, I feel something tugging in my head, so I whip around. There's an older white woman, maybe mid to late 60s, withdrawing her hand. She says, "I just wanted to see how soft it is." Today was just not a particularly good day, so I did yell at her. "Is there a fucking petting zoo sign pinned to my back?" She immediately started stuttering and trying to explain herself, insisting that she didn't mean any harm. I responded by asking, "If you wouldn't pet a dog without asking first, what makes you think it's normal to stick your filthy hands in a stranger's hair?" She started crying and other people started coming over to see what the problem was, so I just left. I told the story to my husband White, M42, and my parents F57 and M67. My mom is on my side, but my dad and husband are saying that I could have been more understanding to this woman, so now I'm asking Reddit. Edited to correct my mum's age. Not the asshole at all. No one has the right to touch anyone. On a totally unrelated side note, I am stuck on your parents' age when they had you, 17 and 37. Not the asshole. This lady had no excuse. At 60, you're old enough to know that you don't touch a stranger without asking. What the hell? It's something children are taught from an early age. Not the asshole. You were right to yell at her. Bet she won't try that specific trick again. And I love the petting zoo comment. That was lovely. If it isn't part of your own body, you don't freaking touch it. I mean, damn. Not the asshole. I honestly don't understand why anyone would touch someone else's hair. It is such an odd and invasive thing to do. Not the asshole. You owe nobody anything. It's like those weirdos who think that a pregnant woman should tolerate being stroked because baby. Yuck, no. Keep your hands to yourself, creep. Not the asshole. Your hair isn't public property. Touching someone's hair like that is a really weird thing to do, but if she really wants to, then she should ask first. Not the asshole. She touched you without your consent. You don't owe any politeness to someone who assaulted you, which is what unwanted physical contact is under many laws. Nata. Preschool kids learn to keep their hands to themselves, so can she. Not the asshole. White woman here with curly hair. The fucking audacity of people out here trying to touch our hair is sickening. Yeah, it's curly. Do I look like a labradoodle? No. Fuck off, you're in my bubble. I've found curly hair and women being pregnant all of a sudden become objects and we lose all autonomy. Not the asshole. Maybe she finally learned something most of us were taught in kindergarten: don't touch others without asking first. Good grief. Not the asshole. I'm white but have extremely curly hair and often deal with people wanting to touch it. This is invasive and uncomfortable, and you are not in the wrong for defending your boundaries and personal space. We're still reeling from a pandemic. It is okay to have a reaction to someone touching you without consent. Could you have been gentler with your approach? Maybe, but I still don't think this makes you TA. Not the asshole. Sometimes being strongly confronted with the social consequences of one's thoughts behavior is a catalyst for deep, needed change. I hope that this woman processes her tears in the context of what she can do differently from now on. Source: my own experiences with being corrected strongly and publicly. Not the asshole. And ignore any comments that say you should have been nicer. You don't owe this person any kindness whatsoever. I'm white with curly red hair, as is my oldest. His very first sentence: I swear don't touch my hair. Then my youngest is mixed. He didn't have as many problems because we knew how it was and were ready for it. Lol. I'm white like sour cream on mashed potatoes, but I have ridiculously long and soft hair that I've been maintaining for years. I'm also autistic and have PTSD, so I get pretty freaked out when people touch me, especially without warning. But instead of calling people out on it, I just freeze up, and whoever had the nerve to pet me leaves by the time I think to move or say anything. I wish I had the courage to do what you did. People like that deserve to be confronted and called out. Not the asshole, and keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully she'll think about it the next time she feels the urge to touch someone without permission. No one has a right to put their hand on you, whether they mean harm or not. One way to get more than some verbal, you don't know anyone's intent. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You should never touch another person without their consent for any reason. Not the asshole. Sure, you could have been kinder. But letting people get away with that kind of behavior is the reason we still see them behave that way to this day. I'm a white woman and I wouldn't dream of touching anyone's hair or pregnant stomach, or arm, etc. She was out of line. Not the asshole. The only possible excuse for that lady would be if she was mentally handicapped and literally didn't understand common courtesy. I worked with both dementia patients, although if they are that far gone they shouldn't be out by themselves, and severe mental handicaps. Both are often not able to understand why what they did is wrong, and teaching them can be difficult or impossible depending on the case. But you aren't responsible for figuring out if that lady fell into those categories, and it is far more likely she was just dumb. Not the asshole. I am a mature white woman and I know better. Now she does too. Shame on her. People need to think before they act. And if it ever crosses your mind to touch a complete stranger for your own gratification, think harder. She lost all right to expect civility when she acted that way. Not the asshole. We all learn in kindergarten to look with our eyes and not our hands. The sense of entitlement where one thinks they have every right to touch our hair is rooted in racism and not idle curiosity. Because she could have asked first, had a conversation, anything. But she didn't. She reached out and touched your hair and you didn't even have a chance to see her coming to avoid it. I just wanted to see how soft it is. It's how is that her business ever? Not the asshole. What the actual fuck? Maybe old lady didn't mean to be racist, but you just educated her with a quickness. I feel like if you're rude enough to touch a complete stranger, you can't cry if you a sharp reaction. She's lucky she didn't get hands. Damn. Not the asshole. I'm in my 60s and if I saw you at the store with such beautiful hair I wouldn't touch it. I would just possibly tell you how lovely your hair is. Why do people think they can just touch other people? Not the asshole. There is no part of a stranger someone should be touching without consent. I find it really uncomfortable that she just reaches out and touched your hair. She would likely never reach out and touch a stranger anywhere else, so why should hair be an exception? Not the asshole. I've got really long very straight hair that I often wear up in 2 pigtails to keep it off my face. I've had strangers walk up behind me and grab my hair like reins. Anyone touching my head unexpectedly makes me see fucking red. As a white woman, not the asshole. This woman was wrong and her age has nothing to do with it. Your dad and husband are wrong for telling you to be nicer to a woman who crossed your boundaries. Why did she feel it was okay to just touch your hair? Have your husband or father just had a stranger just go up and run their fingers through their beards without asking? I'm white and I'm appalled at her behavior. Not the asshole. PFFT. You should be more understanding. Not the asshole. That's outrageous. Glad you said your piece. She will think twice about touching hopefully anyone ever again. WTH did I just read. Sorry this happens still. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This woman is old enough to know to keep her hands to herself.